I was 5, my mom remarried a man, and he was great. He was the first kind of father figure I had. About a year into their marriage, he got abusive. And the first time, it was a shove, and then it was an apology, and I didn't know any better. I think maybe was 6 or 7. The second time, he did serious damage to her. In the middle of the night, we basically left town because that was the only way we had to get out. I just remember I really wasn't that, other than seeing my mom's face disheveled because it was horrible. She was so strong about everything, and we just kind of loaded up our stuff and we left, and I didn't know any different, and she looked like she had everything under control. I look back now as an adult and I'm like, I can't believe I went through that as a child, and I can't believe my mom had to go through that by herself. I just remember telling her, like, it'll be fine, it's okay, just like she would tell me, when I was sad, it's gonna be fine, it'll be okay. My mom never forgot that feeling that she felt. I think that she had let me down at some point or done something wrong, that it was her fault. As I got older and I started understanding it more, and it wasn't something that affected me negatively the rest of my life. I'm now, giving back to something that I feel it's important to give back to, because I would have given anything for a place like Chrysalis for my mom to go to. But instead, she battled it all by herself. She was never, ever the same. And she always I know in her heart that she knew that I had to watch her go through that, and that broke her heart more than anything. I never went without anything. I was basically raised by her from 8 years old on, and she worked 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that, I could keep up with all my friends, and I had all this stuff, and I had a car when I turned 16, and I had braces, even though I didn't necessarily want them. But I never went without anything, and I never went without her loving me, and I never went without, she didn't miss anything, and she worked odd jobs so that she never missed a volleyball game, and she didn't miss, I took singing lessons for a while, but she didn't miss any of those recitals.
Which might be hard to do.
But it was like she just never missed a beat. She was mom and dad, and she did everything in her power to make sure I had as normal of a childhood as possible. I remember when I first started volunteering at Chrysalis, and I realized women keep coming back for counseling for years, and there are victims you guys, Chrysalis is still in touch with, and she never had that kind of sense of security that I think she always felt so alone. I know she was aware that it happens to more women, and now even some men, I've learned, but I think she put herself kind of in a box that it hasn't happened to anybody else, and nobody else could relate, and no one could possibly understand. And I know she had days where she didn't even think I understood, because she didn't understand how I could just be like, it's fine, it happened, it's over, we're stronger for it, we've moved on, we're at peace, I'm at peace with the situation, he has to live with what he's done, but she just felt so alone. And I just think, had she found a place like Chrysalis to go to and known that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of women, unfortunately, that are in the same situation, that had an 8-year-old daughter staring at her, looking at her with big eyes, asking, what do we do now, and telling her it's going to be okay. And she just never had that, and I think things would have been a lot different for her had she had that.
And I think in talking with Lauren, that's one of the main reasons why she wanted to find a place like Chrysalis. She said she knew if she and her mom would have had that when they were going through that, her mom would have been in a better place as they, grew together. And I understand that for sure. I think getting involved with Chrysalis and knowing how you guys help, I understand how women get the initial help they need, but also just long term, they feel like someone's in their corner, which I know Shelly, for a lot of her life, didn't feel like she had that support as much as Lauren would.
Yeah.
Lauren was definitely there to do everything she could, but there's just I think, you know, the strength of your community, and I think Chrysalis provides that for women and families. I think it's important because unfortunately, you know, the only times you really hear about domestic abuse in the news is when it's an athlete involved, and unfortunately it happens all too often where, you know, an athlete isn't treating his spouse or children, you know, properly. And it's nice for us to, you know, be able to have an event and raise some awareness, but also let people know that, you know, the vast majority of these athletes are, you know, good men, good fathers, good husbands, and we hope that, you know, everybody in attendance feels that same sense of responsibility, you know, that everybody deserves to feel safe at home.